What's up, you little scallywag toe suckers? How's it going? Well, actually, it's going pretty bad. You see, the other day, that's good. Anyway, about 15 days ago, I got a notification on Discord that said something like, "Yo, what's up, gamers? Time for the Dani Jam." Danny's been gone for, 3 years now, and he's hosting a game jam? But then I realized it was just evil using Danny's name to host a game jam. Truly is evil. Still, I already joined the jam. When the jam started, the theme was announced to be attraction. The first thing I thought of was a dating sim where you attract a bunch of ladies with your massive. On second thought, let's just make a game about magnets. What the magnets do? They stick to metal. I was then reminded of a bug in my main project from a long time ago where the player was able to stick to walls, and I think this could make a really good main mechanic. I started working on the player movement. I used the built-in physics engine of the engine I use in just kidding. I made my own. For the player, I did this by applying a force where the player is looking. I got this line of code from a tutorial a while back, and I can't find it anymore, but it's really useful. If anyone recognizes where I got it from, write the tutorial name in the comments, please. Just having a player go where it looks had some problems. The first one I saw was the player wouldn't align to the ground. I fixed this by shooting 2 rays to the ground from the tips of the magnet. If one tip was touching, then it would rotate slowly away from it till the other tip was touching. I made it so that time slows down when the player is aiming the magnet, which feels really nice to play with. It's like that feeling that you get when you follow a single woman home in the dark so that she gets home safe. Then I forgot about the game for a day. But once I remembered that I was doing a game jam, I opened up the project and everything was broken. I don't know what happened in that day span, but it just wasn't working. I tried everything to fix it, but all my progress from day one, gone. Forever. Oh wait, what am I talking about? I use version control. It's fixed now. I then decided on how I wanted the levels to work. Did I want them to all be disconnected, or did I want them to all be one big level of checkpoints? Or maybe one big level without checkpoints. After a while of deciding, by that I mean I flipped a coin, a 3-headed coin. I chose the triathlon choice and went with the one big level without checkpoints. I wanted a rage game, as I've never made one before and I think it'd be fun, so I started working on the level. The biggest problem I found was that you couldn't really move if you were just in an open space. I mean, there was a bug where if you angled your magnet just right, you would slide along the ground. But I didn't want the player to have to do any precise movements, as this is a game jam, and everything that I've learned from game jams is that they're supposed to be easy and forgiving, unlike a rage game. So like a paraplegic bunny, I pivoted to a level-based design system, which ended up being a really good idea. Let me walk you through how I designed levels. I started out by making a big black block, like so. Then I thought of what main mechanic I wanted to use for these levels. I always had 3 levels for each mechanic, an easy one to teach you with the mechanic, and 2 hard ones. Take levels 4 to 6 for instance. Level 4 is a simple level that can be beaten in one click, but it introduces die boxes, which if you fall into one, it kills you. Then on to level 5 is a level where you can actually pretty easily fall into the die box, if you're not careful. Then level 6 is a long strip where you have to chain movements to not fall into the lava, as around this time is where I fixed the bug where you could slide on walls and floors. But speaking of die boxes, I made them by using a polygon and a collision box, and a particle emitter. I decided early on that I didn't want to have any art in the game other than the magnet, as drawing just takes away from the time I could be spent developing. I checked if the player entered the die box, and if it did, it would play this really cool animation, which although it looks similar to the one for exiting the level, it is not the same. See, for the one exiting the level, all I do is tween the player to the point I want him and then turn him invisible and emit these particles that slowly turn from their respective colors into green. Then I load the next scene. The end portal also plays this static sound when you get close to it, which is broken because I forgot to enable looping. So if you don't finish the game within the first 15 seconds, you don't hear the static, which should be easy for you because I'm sure you always finish within the first 3, don't you? The die boxes were done, but I thought that they weren't the only obstacle I needed, so I added normal boxes that you could pull and the button that you could pull them onto. I made the button open up a door and made it so the boxes could also die in the die box. But I think the boxes dying in the die boxes added another level of depth to the game, like in level 9 where you had to pull this box down from the ledge without letting it hit the die box. Here's a small hint. You can just park your magnet right here and aim at the box to get it to the button. Super easy. The boxes in general also added a lot more depth to the game that I would not have been able to get without them. But I think this game needed something else. Something to really push this game over the edge. Something that would blow this game into greatness. Something that would spin your head off. Something that would... Is this guy gonna keep doing this all night? Something that you'd be... Yeah, he does that sometimes. Anyway, I added a fan. That's all the puns were about, by the way. They're all fan puns, if you didn't guess it. I did this by having a collision detection area sticking straight up from this box. And then if any entity, i.e. the player or a box, entered this area, then it'd give this entity a velocity to apply to itself. I bet it'd be real hard to apply it to the player's current velocity. Oh, well that was easy. So yeah, I made this fan. I'm a huge fan of it. The first level I used to introduce it is probably the easiest one in the game, as all you do is have it click here and you win. I wanted to keep some of the original idea of a rage game still intact, so I made one last level. This level is the hardest one of them all. It starts out with you having to bring this box down from this ledge onto this button. After you do that, you have to cross this die box area with fans and then pull another box onto a button to open up this door. Then you have to travel up this little area at the top without letting the fans blow you into this die box. Then you have to go through this tunnel without being pushed into these die boxes. These fans blow you really hard. And if you do that, you get nothing. I didn't add an end screen or anything because I didn't expect anyone to get this far, and I was a little bit lazy. I was about this, happily or sadly, depending on how you look at it, wrong. I also had this level select screen, which had its problems. The one big one being that I couldn't use a script to auto-pull these icons and the level paths from the file system, as this just broke on the web build for some reason. I really don't know why I did this, but I got it flattened out. Also, I added some music which I found on Pixabay, and a music mute button, which is the second sprite in this game. Also, I made this start screen. Of course, I couldn't forget about the most important part, the credit screen. Thanks for watching the video. Like the video. Yeah, that's it. Bye.